ladies and gentlemen, champions in the making, let me ask you a question right now. What if the life you dream of isn't waiting at the end of the road, but in how you choose to walk it? Today, right now, excellence is not reserved for a select few. It's not about being born with special talents or having access to elite resources. Excellence is a mindset, a commitment to becoming the best version of yourself every single day. It's a conscious decision to refuse mediocrity in the small, often unseen moments of life. While the world waits for the perfect opportunity, those who walk in daily excellence understand that their breakthrough is not a matter of chance, but a matter of choice. They know that showing up with full intention today is the only bridge to the future they desire. You don't magically rise to the level of your ambitions. You fall to the level of your systems. You might have a massive vision, big dreams, and bold goals. But if your daily routines are weak, your results will reflect that. Dreams without structure are just fantasies. The people who win in life aren't the ones who dream the most. They're the ones who execute the best. They have patterns and behaviors in place that reinforce discipline, action, and growth. Every successful outcome is built on the back of invisible consistency. Success is not in the spotlight moments. It's in the repetitions when no one is watching. It's in the way you return that phone call when you're tired. It's in the decision to work out when you'd rather sleep in. It's in choosing to study when you could scroll. Every time you act with intention in the small moments, you stack the bricks of your future. Don't wait for permission or a perfect plan. The seeds of transformation lie in what you do daily. You don't get ready to be excellent. You become excellent by staying ready. People often overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can accomplish in a year of consistent effort. One day of excellence doesn't change your life, but a year of showing up with purpose will. You might not see the results immediately, but that doesn't mean the work isn't working. Daily excellence is about trusting the process even when progress is invisible. It's having faith that the right habits done repeatedly compound into unstoppable momentum. You were not designed for average. You were built with purpose, crafted with intention, and wired with potential that most people never activate. But the danger is that potential without action becomes regret, and nothing will weigh heavier on your soul than knowing you played small when you had the capacity to play big. Every time you choose comfort over calling, distraction over discipline, or fear over faith, you delay your destiny. But every time you take control of your habits, you take command of your future. Discipline is what bridges the gap between who you are and who you could be. Motivation is fleeting. It's a spark, not a strategy. Discipline, on the other hand, is your engine. It doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for the mood to strike. It shows up every time with or without applause. If you want to live a life that others admire, you have to build the muscle of doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. That's where growth lives. That's where greatness is born. The world rewards execution, not excuses. Every day, you're either moving closer to your vision or further away from it. There is no neutral. If you're not being intentional, you're being distracted. And if you're not improving, you're declining. Excellence is about leaning into discomfort, pushing through resistance, and embracing the grind not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Most people avoid the hard things and wonder why they live an average life. Those who master daily excellence do the hard things until they become easy. There will be days when you don't want to get up, days when no one notices your effort, days when your work feels invisible. But those are the days that define you. Those are the days that shape your identity. When you act with purpose on those days, you're no longer a dabbler. You're a builder. And builders don't chase hype, they create legacy. So show up with excellence, not once in a while, but every day. Not for the applause, but because of who you're becoming in the process. You don't magically rise to the level of your ambitions. You fall to the level of your systems. That truth can be hard to swallow for people who are used to setting goals, but never creating the structure to reach them. We've been conditioned to think that success comes from dreaming big, but dreaming big without doing the daily work is a fantasy, not a plan. It's not about whether you believe in yourself during a motivational high. It's about what you're doing when no one is clapping and nothing feels exciting. Your systems, the routines, habits, disciplines, and patterns you follow every single day are the scaffolding of your future. Most people get excited when they set goals. They write them down, talk about them, maybe even post about them. But few people have the structure to make those goals inevitable. Systems are what make excellence repeatable. A goal says, I want to lose weight, but a system says, I work out every morning at 6 a.m., no matter how I feel. A goal says, I want to build a business, but a system says, I make 10 offers a day to solve someone's problem. Goals give you direction. Systems give you traction. Without systems, your progress will be slow, scattered, and uncertain, like trying to cross a desert with no map, no compass, and no water. People don't fail because they lack talent or intelligence. They fail because their systems are inconsistent or non-existent. Imagine trying to build a house and every day you show up with a different blueprint, a different set of tools, and a different plan. That house would never stand. In the same way, your life requires consistency to take shape. If your mornings are chaotic, your priorities unclear, and your focus scattered, then you're building on sand. Systems bring order to chaos. They take the guesswork out of growth. They allow you to show up and execute without needing to feel inspired. Excellence isn't a feeling, it's a formula. The people you admire, most don't wait for the mood to be right. They have systems that keep them moving, even on days when they don't want to. The athlete trains when tired. The writer writes when uninspired. The leader leads when uncertain. They don't rely on momentum, they create it. Every part of their life is designed to support their purpose. Their calendar reflects their vision. Their habits reflect their commitment. Their systems are so deeply ingrained, it's not about trying anymore. It's just who they are. If you want to change your life, change your systems. If your finances are out of control, look at the financial systems you have in place. Are you budgeting? Are you tracking expenses? Are you saving consistently? If your health is deteriorating, check your health systems. What are you eating daily? How much are you sleeping? How often are you moving? Systems expose the truth. They eliminate excuses. They reveal whether you are truly committed or just casually interested. And once you become aware of your systems, or lack thereof, you can begin to shift from wishing to winning. One of the most powerful things about systems is that they create identity. When you wake up at 5 a.m. every day to work on your craft, your mind begins to associate you with discipline. When you follow through on what you promised, even when no one else is watching, your brain starts to see you as trustworthy. Identity is shaped by behavior repeated over time. It's not about faking it until you make it. It's about practicing it until it becomes second nature. Systems don't just produce results. They produce confidence. They produce clarity. They remove doubt because you're no longer guessing. You're following a proven path. The biggest lie people believe is that successful people have more time or more motivation. They don't. They just have better systems. They've made key decisions ahead of time, so their day isn't ruled by emotions or distractions. They know what matters most, and they've automated their behavior to support it. That's the secret behind the scenes that most people never see. It's not sexy. It's not glamorous, but it works. While others are debating what to do next, people with systems are already doing it. They've turned excellence into a habit, not a hope. When you take control of your systems, you take control of your outcomes. Life becomes less about reacting and more about creating. Instead of living by chance, you start living by choice. Systems give you leverage. They allow you to do more with less effort. They free up your mental space so you can focus on what really matters. You become less drained, less distracted, and more directed. You stop relying on willpower and start relying on structure. That's when things begin to change, not in dramatic overnight leaps, but in steady, compounding steps that eventually redefine everything about your life. Success is not found in the spotlight, it's built in the shadows. It's not in the highlight reels or the applause. It's in the repetitions no one sees. Most people are chasing big, flashy wins, hoping for that one viral moment, that one lucky break. But the ones who truly succeed understand that real growth comes from what they do consistently when the cameras are off. It's the discipline to return the phone call when you're exhausted. It's the integrity to keep your word even when it's inconvenient. It's the commitment to improvement when there's no reward on the horizon. The game is won in the dark before it's ever celebrated in the light. There's a dangerous belief that success happens in a breakthrough, that one magical moment will change everything. But what changes everything is the commitment to small, powerful actions done daily. It's not one act of greatness that moves the needle. It's the quiet decision to keep showing up with purpose that eventually tips the scale. The writer who finishes a book didn't just get inspired one day. They wrote through boredom, frustration, and doubt. The business owner who built a legacy didn't do it with one big idea. They built it on follow-ups, systems, and consistent service. The artist, the athlete, the leader, they all became who they are by honoring the process, not just the result. Most people are looking for fireworks, but excellence comes from the slow burn. It comes from doing the work that isn't glamorous. It's getting up before the sun when you'd rather sleep in. It's doing the reps even when your progress feels stuck. It's making the decision to keep learning when you feel like giving up. Those small efforts are like seeds. You don't see the tree right away, but that doesn't mean it's not growing. The work is working even when it feels invisible. And that's where faith and focus collide. When you choose to trust that consistency will do what intensity alone never could. What you do daily will eventually become what you're known for. You can't expect long-term results from short-term effort. That's why excellence isn't about motivation. It's about commitment. You don't brush your teeth once and expect healthy gums. You don't go to the gym one time and expect to be in shape. Excellence is built on rituals. It's about stacking wins, small, daily, intentional wins that create momentum. Each choice to do the right thing, even when no one is watching, is a brick in the foundation of greatness. That foundation isn't built overnight, but when it's in place, it's unshakable. The difference between those who grow and those who remain stuck isn't in opportunity. It's in follow through. Everyone gets moments of inspiration. Everyone has ideas, but only a few are willing to put their head down and do the mundane things that lead to mastery. Those who rise are not the most talented, but the most consistent. They understand that skill is refined in repetition. Confidence is built in practice, and results are born out of persistence. They don't wait to feel like doing the work. They've trained themselves to show up regardless of how they feel. There will be times when your effort feels unappreciated. There will be seasons where your work produces little visible reward. That's where most people quit, when it feels like no one notices, like the effort isn't worth it. But those are the exact moments that shape your identity, when you keep showing up, not because of the applause, but because of your standard. You separate yourself from the pack. You're no longer working for validation, you're working from conviction. That's when excellence becomes who you are, not something you occasionally do, but something you embody. The difference is subtle but powerful. Most people are chasing outcomes. They want the money, the recognition, the lifestyle. But daily excellence focuses on becoming the kind of person who attracts those outcomes naturally. It's not just about doing excellent things. It's about becoming excellent in spirit, in thought, in behavior. You don't rise to the top by luck. You become someone who belongs at the top by mastering your habits at the bottom. You earn confidence through action. You build identity through execution. You develop greatness by refusing to compromise with mediocrity. Every small choice matters. Every ignored temptation, every completed task, every extra hour spent sharpening your craft, it all adds up. Over time, the compound effect kicks in, and what once felt hard becomes second nature. You begin to operate with precision, with clarity, with purpose. You don't have to force results. You attract them through consistency. Your effort multiplies quietly until the world takes notice. But by then, it won't matter, because you're no longer driven by recognition. You're driven by the standard you've set for yourself. And once that becomes your new normal, there's no going back. People often overestimate what they can accomplish in a single day and underestimate what they can achieve over the course of a year through consistent, focused action. The world has become obsessed with instant results, quick fixes, overnight success, the idea that with the right hack, everything will fall into place. But the truth is, transformation rarely happens in an instant. It's a slow, steady build. It's the accumulation of small, often unnoticed efforts that compound over time. The people who achieve lasting success aren't rushing to win the day. They're committed to winning the year by doing what matters daily, even when it feels insignificant. It's easy to get discouraged when progress is invisible. You go to the gym for a week and see no change. You make 5 sales calls and get rejected. You write every day for a month and no one reads your work. That's where most people give up, not because the path doesn't work, but because they expected the payoff too soon. They wanted confirmation before commitment. But excellence requires the opposite. It demands commitment first, faith in the process, trust in the structure, and belief that small actions done consistently will produce big results in time. The absence of visible reward is not the absence of progress. Daily excellence means showing up with the same intensity and integrity, even when there is no recognition or reward. It means putting in the reps when the room is empty, when the applause is absent, and when the future is unclear. It's refusing to let the lack of results become an excuse to quit, because the work is working, even when you can't yet see it. Every disciplined action is a vote for the person you are becoming. Every time you show up, you are reinforcing the identity of someone who follows through, someone who builds momentum instead of waiting for it to arrive. What separates high achievers from those who never quite break through isn't that they never struggle. It's that they don't let the struggle redefine their commitment. They understand that the path to greatness is paved with moments that feel thankless. They don't need external validation to stay consistent. Their standards are internalized. They do the work whether it's convenient or not, whether it's acknowledged or ignored. That kind of mindset creates unstoppable momentum over time because it's no longer about circumstances. It's about character. When you operate from a place of daily excellence, you begin to develop a new kind of confidence. Not the loud, boastful kind that needs to be seen, but the quiet, unshakable kind that comes from knowing you are doing what most people aren't willing to do. You don't need to talk about your grind because your results begin to speak for you. And even before the results arrive, you feel different, more focused, more disciplined, more in control of your outcomes. The small wins start to stack, and the internal belief grows stronger with each one. There's a psychological power in knowing that you kept your promise to yourself. When you say you'll wake up early, and you do, that's a deposit into your confidence account. When you say you'll eat clean and follow through, that's another deposit. Over time, those deposits build self-trust, and self-trust is the foundation of personal power. People who don't keep commitments to themselves live in quiet self-doubt. They speak about goals, but act in ways that betray them. But those who practice daily excellence are building trust with themselves every single day, and that trust becomes fuel for bigger dreams. You can't shortcut this process. You can't outsource the effort or microwave the mastery. The work must be done, and it must be done consistently. There will be days where you question whether it's worth it, when the resistance feels heavier than your willpower. But those are the exact days that define you. Not the days when you're winning, but the days when quitting looks tempting. Your ability to lean in when others back out, to stay locked in when others get distracted, that's what builds the muscle of excellence. It's not about never feeling discouraged. It's about never letting that discouragement dictate your direction. Every great achievement you admire was built on a foundation of invisible days. Days filled with effort, repetition, patience, and faith. You don't plant a seed and dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You water it, nurture it, protect it, and trust that the growth is happening beneath the surface. That's how daily excellence works. You may not see the reward right away. You may not get applause, but beneath the surface, something powerful is growing, something unshakable, something that only consistency can produce. And that something is what will carry you through when others fade out. You were not designed for average. From the moment you took your first breath, there was potential buried inside of you, potential to build, to lead, to overcome, to impact. But potential is not power until it's activated. It's not the idea of who you could be that changes your life. It's the decision to pursue that version of yourself with everything you've got. Most people live their entire lives sitting on potential because they're waiting for a perfect time, a perfect plan, or perfect circumstances. But daily excellence doesn't wait. It moves with urgency, with clarity, and with an internal demand to make progress regardless of what's happening externally. Every time you choose ease over effort, you delay your development. Comfort is seductive. It whispers lies that make stagnation feel safe. But there's a cost to comfort, and that cost is your calling. Every moment you spend indulging in distraction, procrastination, or fear Fear-based hesitation is a moment stolen from your destiny. Excellence isn't built on convenience. It's built on conviction. It's a choice to align your actions with your purpose, even when your feelings try to pull you in a different direction. And it's in those hard choices, repeated daily, that character is carved and greatness is forged. People think fear is the enemy of success, but in truth, it's indecision. Fear is natural. It shows up anytime you're stepping into something greater than yourself. But indecision, that's a thief. It robs you of momentum, clarity, and confidence. The ones who master daily excellence don't eliminate fear, they move through it. They decide, they act, they adjust. They don't waste time waiting for the fear to disappear. They simply refuse to let it stop them. Because they understand that clarity doesn't come before action. It comes from it. And each small act of courage builds a bolder identity. You can either live by design or by default. Design means you've thought deeply about who you want to become and what habits support that future. Default means you wake up and repeat yesterday's patterns, hoping for a different result. Daily excellence is about designing your day with intention. What time do you wake up? What do you allow into your mind first? How do you protect your energy? What do you feed your spirit, your body, your vision? These things don't happen by accident. The most successful people don't stumble into their routines. They construct them, they refine them, and they fiercely protect them. Every decision you make is either reinforcing who you are or who you were. You're never standing still. You're always becoming. And the power of daily excellence is that it gives you the ability to intentionally shape that process. You don't have to guess who you're becoming. You can decide. You can craft the version of yourself that aligns with your deepest values and highest vision. And you do that not through dramatic change, but through consistent, focused action. Excellence isn't a switch you flip, it's a standard you set, then honor one moment at a time. When you raise your standard, everything around you starts to shift. The people you attract change. The opportunities you qualify for change. Even the way you speak, think, and respond begins to evolve. Because your standard is the thermostat of your life. It determines the temperature you operate at. And if your life feels cold, stagnant, or stuck, it's not a sign that you need more talent or better luck. It's a signal that your standard has settled too low. Raise it. Elevate your expectations, not just of others, but of yourself. Because the world will always mirror back to you the level of excellence you consistently walk in. The challenge is that life doesn't hand you opportunities according to your potential. It hands them according to your preparation. You don't get what you want. You get what you're ready to handle. And daily excellence is the preparation. It's how you show the universe, your creator, and even your future self that you're serious. It's how you demonstrate that you're not waiting for permission. You're building capacity. That when the opportunity shows up, you won't need time to get ready. You'll already be in motion, already aligned, already in rhythm with the demands of your next level. What you tolerate becomes your norm. What you consistently allow in your environment, your habits, and your thinking will shape what you become. And if you keep tolerating average, you'll keep living beneath your capacity. The standard you hold yourself to must be higher than the circumstances you face. When life pressures you, it's not your goals that keep you moving. It's your standard. It's your unwillingness to accept anything less than what you were born to do. That kind of mindset doesn't emerge overnight. It's built through repeated decisions, consistent action, and the daily pursuit of who you are truly capable of becoming. The most powerful transformation in life doesn't happen when the world applauds you. It happens when you decide in silence and solitude that average will never be enough for you again. It's that inner moment where something shifts, where you look in the mirror and say, I was not born for mediocrity. That decision. The internal line you draw in the sand is where daily excellence begins. It's not about perfection. It's not about impressing anyone else. It's about deciding to live in alignment with the highest version of who you are, even when no one is watching, even when there is no immediate reward, and especially when it would be easier to do less. You see, life doesn't respond to intentions, it responds to standards. And your standard is not what you talk about, it's what you tolerate. If you tolerate laziness, disorganization, delay, distraction, that becomes your operating system. But when you raise your standard, when you make excellence your non-negotiable, that's when life starts to shift. Not all at once, but gradually, consistently, predictably. It starts in small choices, waking up when you said you would, finishing what you promised yourself you'd start, pushing one more rep, reading one more page, making one more call. These aren't massive moves, but they compound with time and become unstoppable. The most successful people in the world don't have more hours in the day. They use their hours with more discipline. They don't chase balance, they build rhythm. They don't let circumstances dictate their output. They understand that every day is an opportunity to make a deposit into the account of mastery. And every time you do something excellent, especially when it would have been easier to compromise, you're putting yourself in position to rise above. Not because life gives you what you want, but because life honors who you become through what you consistently do. It's easy to be fired up on Monday morning or motivated after hearing a great message. But the power of daily excellence isn't proven in moments of hype. It's revealed in moments of silence, when no one is cheering, when it's raining outside, when your body is tired, when your mind is scattered, and when quitting seems reasonable. Those are the defining moments. And what you do in those moments doesn't just shape your results, it shapes your identity. Every disciplined act is like a sculptor's chisel, carving away at the weak version of you and revealing the strong, focused, and capable version that was always there underneath. Daily excellence is not glamorous. It's not dramatic. It's not Instagram worthy. It's quiet, repetitive, and often thankless. But it builds the kind of resilience and character that nothing else can. When you've trained yourself to show up day after day, even when it's inconvenient, you've developed something the world can't take from you: self-respect. You begin to walk differently, talk differently, think differently. Not because you've arrived, but because you know you're becoming. You're not just reacting to life anymore, you're creating it one action at a time. There will always be distractions, reasons to delay, justifications to shrink, temptations to retreat to comfort. But every time you resist those voices and choose to stay on path, you're building mental muscle. You're not just developing habits, you're installing a new identity. You start to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who finishes, someone who doesn't just talk about goals, but lives in alignment with them. That identity becomes your shield in tough times. It becomes your compass when life gets noisy. It becomes your fuel when the finish line still feels far away. The real battle isn't between you and your competition. It's between you and your compromise. Every single day you are faced with a choice. Will you operate from your vision, or will you submit to your excuses? Will you honor the standard, or will you negotiate with comfort? Most people lose that battle not because they lack talent, but because they never mastered consistency. They keep restarting instead of reinforcing. They wait for motivation instead of relying on commitment. And the result is a life of starts and stops, highs and lows, effort without elevation. But those who master daily excellence break free of that cycle. They gain momentum. And with momentum comes confidence, clarity, and control. Success doesn't come to those who dabble. It belongs to those who dominate their space with intentional effort. That effort isn't occasional, it's embedded in their day. It's how they think, how they act, how they move. It's not reactive, it's proactive. It doesn't depend on energy, it produces energy. The more you live this way, the more natural it becomes. You begin to crave progress, to seek challenge, to desire the discipline. Not because it's easy, but because now you see the truth. Greatness isn't somewhere you arrive. It's something you practice day in and day out until it becomes who you are.